Electrocast.
There's a change happening in the way we live, the way we work, the way we spend our money and make our decisions. We are evolving to be more conscious in our actions in a way that serves the world and makes it a better place. Welcome to the Ethical Evolution. The Ethical Evolution podcast is brought to you by Ethical Change Agency. I'm Bindi, I'm the founder, and my mission is to help ethical entrepreneurs and holistic healers to find their voice through spiritual coaching and podcasting. I'm honoured to bring you the stories of those who create change through healing, kindness, innovation, purpose, and spirit. Understanding that to create collective change, we need to be the change. It all begins with us. Dr. Kruhly, the founder of Depth Healing Technology, has been studying and training in his multidiscipline crafts of health, quantum science, personal development, consciousness, and brain research, classical Japanese sword, Zen, Aikido, Oneness and Deeksha, energy psychologies, brain reprogramming, military science, quantum biology, ecosystems, and spiritual mystical experiences for over 51 years. His depth healing process uses cutting-edge quantum physics to help individuals remove cognitive dissonance from their subconscious minds. Dr. Kruhly guides clients towards a state of coherence and alignment with their true selves and purpose, allowing them to experience profound personal transformation, health, and growth in whatever area they are challenged. I was truly mind-blown after spending time with Dr. Kruhly in how he made such a complicated subject of quantum science and brain reprogramming so understandable and logical. It also opened my eyes to the true potential we all have that is not yet tapped into, if we only have the courage to uncover it. Welcome, Grant, to the Ethical Evolution.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
Now, you're joining us from Thailand today. We don't get many guests from that part of the world, so welcome. Thank you for joining us. For those people who don't know who you are and what you do, can you go ahead and tell us?
So I'm the founder of a system called Depth Healing, which is a transfer system of using applied quantum physics through consciousness to heal people and re-engineer their lives. So I do that from here for people anywhere in the world, and I'm able to do that through the quantum field. And then I've been studying about 53 years. I carry 3 samurai lineages on my shoulder. So my first profession is a martial specialist. Mm-hmm. The old samurai Japanese methodology. And then during that part of my career, before year 2000, I used to teach United States military, police, and then NASA, Silicon Valley execs, because I was in Silicon Valley back then. And then I decided to become a doctor in my 40s. So I went back to school, got licensed. I graduated in Texas. I was licensed in Georgia and Tennessee. And then after a particularly profound, I used to attend the sacred chambers in Dr. Rossi McClellan's home in Atlanta, Georgia. And on a particular day in 2014, the divine rewrote what we call the 5th program, which is from the age of 7 until whatever age you are now. It's called the fifth program. There are 10 programs. So they rewrote a chapter of my 5th program, and in a matter of a few months, I left North America, moved to Thailand. I was married. I left my wife. We were still married, but I left. And all my pets that I cried over for 3 years. And I built my life here with the divine. So Tammy and I divorced. I met Oi, and I live here. I've been in Thailand now 9 years.
Wow. Incredible. And, reading your bio, there's so much that you've done and there's so much that you cover. I was really like, wow, I really just want to niche onto a couple things. And one of those is obviously quantum science and the other being brain programming.
Yeah.
So for those people listening who are thinking, what is all this quantum stuff about? Like, it just sounds woo-woo. What exactly is it?
Okay. So it's a good question. So from science now has switched over for quite a long time now from the old Newtonian kind of a perspective where we think of everything as solid, like even an atom.
Mm-hmm.
When we were kids, they taught us that an atom is a thing. The fact is, nothing is a thing. It's all energy, and if it has some kind of looks like a physical density, that's its frequency, or how fast or how it's vibrating. And it's also the way our brain works. It's a combination. But basically what you're looking at, folks, with quantum science is simply you're looking at the energy strata that creates everything. Like, for instance, Nassim Haramein, the great physicist that I love, he has shown and proven in peer-reviewed science now that the vacuum, like where I'm waving my hand in empty air, that is enormously dense. We just don't know it because just like a fish swimming in water, he doesn't know he's in the water because he lives there. We don't realize that all of this is that 1 cubic centimeter of empty space contains enough energy to boil all the oceans of the world for something like 10 years.
That's incredible.
Not nonstop. That's how much energy is in 1 cubic centimeter of empty air.
Wow.
So everything is energy. Now, what I do, or the way I operate, is your what you think of as your mind, your subconscious mind primarily, and the conscious mind, that's a field. The brain, the brain itself is an antenna system. It's designed to lock into the field and extract information or whatever it needs. And now they have the instrumentation that shows that when we're thinking, the thinking is outside of the head. I think it's called a magnetoencephalogram. Bruce Lipton talks a lot about it. It's very recent invention. So anyway, science backs this, it's not that we need science, but it's fun when science validates something. So what I do is I have the ability now to access your subconscious mind, and I can surgically go in to that field and find, let's say you have a negative belief, or you have a negative imprint, or let's say you have post-traumatic stress syndrome. All those things are encoded in photons of light that are held in the electromagnetic field that we'll call your mind. And I can go in with frequencies and disintegrate that.
Wow.
That's what I do. When I disintegrate it, if I can find the whole imprint or whatever it is, once I disintegrate it, it's gone. Every time I make an extraction like that, your brain reorganizes, your field reorganizes, and then I'm putting in your field, and your mind, your field tells me what to do. I don't select anything. I'm a channel. I'm strictly a channel. I don't have magic powers or any. I'm empowered to be able to send the energies, but that's not my energy. It's a channel. So I put in constructive interference waves, and a constructive interference wave means it builds your system up. It makes you your consciousness rise, your physiology heal. Like when I removed Lyme's disease from a lady that had suffered for over 30 years, was unresponsive to medical care, and I removed it very easily. All I got to do, it's only a little virus, so it's not a complex thing. It has a signature frequency. Everything has a frequency. This mouse has frequencies. A person has billions of frequencies. But anyway, I just find the frequency of Lyme's disease and disintegrate it using what's called a destructive interference wave. So if you go on Google and you type in destructive interference waves, you'll see that when those two frequencies meet each other, they cancel to zero. So I canceled the Lyme's to zero. Once it's gone, period. So that's what I do. I mean, that's a simple example. So quantum physics is studying the fields. It's a field. All the pandemic nonsense, that's a morphic field. It's a gigantic, a morphic field means a collective. And collective fields control everything. That's the big boy.
Right. So it makes me wonder then, Grant, like, why are we not using this particular science more now in 2023 when there's people suffering in really horrible ways? Like, why are we not using this more?
Yeah, that's something that makes me sick to my stomach. It's got to be over 100 years ago now, there was a landmark study done in Moscow. Guy took a vial of bacteria. And so it's a little glass test tube full of bacteria, folks. And then that guy, pardon me. So that scientist poured colloidal silver on the bacteria, and they all die right away. Okay, fine. So then he took another vial filled with bacteria, and it's over here. And then over here, he put a vial of filled with colloidal silver. And then he did something very interesting. He shined a light through the colloidal silver so it would hit the vial with the bacteria. And they all died right away. Why? Because it isn't the physical colloidal silver killing the bacteria. It's the frequency of colloidal silver, which is a destructive interference wave for the frequency of that bacteria. And the light beam is the carrier wave. They've known that for over 100 years. Now they can build easily the technology for Bruce Lipton's talked about. If you have a lady with breast cancer, you don't have to cut her breast off. You don't have to irradiate her with stuff that's going to kill her anyway. And just, you don't have to do any of that. You just have to send the frequency, not the chemotherapy itself, just the frequency into the tissue, and it'll heal it. Why don't they do it? They want to make money. That's why. That's the only reason why. Why do we still have cars that burn, make pollution? They don't have to do that. They just do it because they make money. You know how advanced they could make a car now? They, Nassim Haramein and NASA on that, they're already forming warp drive, folks. Warp drive, just like Star Trek, using magnetic fields. They built it. They've got all kinds of, they don't have to make cars that makes air pollution. And they certainly don't have to kill everybody in hospitals with their antiquated nonsense. All that is money, period. So what I do, I don't need equipment because I'm able to do this. I'm specially sort of designed that way. That's what an empowerment means. But you can see scalar technology. There's a number of things, and you can find number of technologies where the machine generates very beautiful high level frequencies that can heal you. You have to find good, competent practitioners that know what they're doing, and then you can heal yourself. You know, when you see someone that heals cancer with juicing, what is juicing? Just frequencies. Food is frequent. You're frequent. Everything is a frequency. So quantum physics now, as Bruce Lipton states, is considered the most accurate science in the world today.
It's incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible. And, you know, Grant, one of the things that's becoming a real theme on this show that everyone I speak to, and I love talking to scientists and doctors in particular, because they make it very clear for us that we have no clue about this meat suit that we live in, right? We know nothing about ourselves, and so we just fumble through life, and we sign up to, you know, all this medicine that we don't need, that ends up killing us anyway, when we could
highest
actually
cause of death in the world.
Yeah, like when we could actually be living much more harmonious, healthier lives, when we actually could learn about ourselves and get empowered about who we are and how we operate. And this stuff like is available to everyone. But we're just being, it's almost like we're being indoctrinated, where we're being conditioned to go down this path and not actually try something else, you know?
Yeah. That's exactly what you're looking at is very, very sophisticated, very careful brainwashing, so that you're literally born. I mean, just the subconscious in the first 6 years of your life, when the subconscious mind is downloading all of its data to run your life. That's what's running your life. None of that data belongs to you. You recorded it at a rate of 40 million bits of information per second, 24/7, starting from conception. And then at conception, you also brought in, that's what, at the time when you, through resonance, the past lives that are going to influence you, good or bad, or both, that's when they come in. And then the genetic, energetic genetic inheritance, running 6 generations back on dad's side, 6 generations back on mom's side. That if there's karmic debts or anything there, that all comes in at conception. And then, so that then you'll be downloading mom and dad in your environment, 40 million bits per second, until the age of 7. When age 7 starts, the frontal cortex, this little tiny area where you think, it activates. It is not active until then. So that is the human dilemma. So during that time, you're all, whatever brainwashing, all the way back, it's just all right there. So you're conditioned to believe MDs. Now, don't misunderstand. It isn't that the MDs are all bad people. I don't mean that. The system is bad. It's actually pathetic. And they're just indoctrinated. When I went back to become a doctor, I was already in my 40s and had been raised and known some of the greatest doctors on the planet Earth because of all the injuries I had. I broke my back in half when I was 27, and I had to heal all these different things. So I always was studying under or being healed by, real renowned, pardon me, doctors. I shouldn't have drank that stuff before I started this. Like Dr. George Goodhart Jr., for instance, the founder of applied kinesiology. So I already knew the truth. When I went in to become a doctor in my 40s, you cannot believe the indoctrination, brainwashing rubbish that's going on in those colleges. So when you go to a hospital or something, those guys actually believe what they tell you. Why do they believe it? Well, ask yourself this question. When you went to university, were you trying to pass your exams, or did you think to yourself, all the stuff they're teaching you is a lie? Of course you don't. You don't think they're teaching you a lie. It's the university. So they just accept it. And before they ever grew up to go to college, they've already been indoctrinated to just do what you're told, conform. It's nonstop, folks. And then they brainwash. I mean, all of the media. That's why I'm different. See, I was never influenced. I've never looked at a newspaper in my life.
Wow.
Ever. All I've ever done is sat at the feet of great masters. When I went back to school, I got those degrees in that. But the school never indoctrinate me. I just needed the title. That's all.
Yeah. Absolutely fascinating. And, you talk about, the frequencies in us as humans, and, we have an electrical body, which many of us are not even aware of. But we have this a biofield, I guess, that resonates out from us a particular distance, right? And that can, we say to people, you can feel the energy in the room. And you can't you? Like when someone walks in, you're like, yep, I'm picking up what they're letting off because you're picking up their energy. So it's about having that awareness that you yourself are transmitting energy, and so is everything and everyone around you, and it all impacts each other. Like we're just so not conscious of it.
Yeah, and it's on so many strata. So your heart, an average human being's heart, the field is about 4 feet in diameter around you. And the heart is the center where your divine lives. That heart is everything. If you look at a toroidal field, so if you go to the Heart Math Institute, Roland McCready and his team, they've developed a very fine, sophisticated technology, and they can look at the heart field, measure it. The brain has a much smaller field. This one's an electrical, heart is magnetic, and the two combined, that makes the electromagnetic field. So what she's referring to when you walk in and you can feel someone, or someone walks in, you can feel them, that's one level. And then thoughts, the brain is an antenna. So the thoughts enter through here and they pass out at the center of your head, just where your neck meets your head, in the center. That's why when you see a meditation system, regardless of kind or culture, the teacher will say, when you're sitting, just watch the thoughts come and go. Why? Because none of the thoughts belong to you at all. Never have, never will be. The thought field is a field, and it's millions and millions and millions of years old. And the thoughts are moving, and the antenna that you have, by resonance, it'll pick up specific kinds of thoughts, specific kinds of knowledge. Einstein, his antenna array was attuned to a high frequency where he can get that kind of mathematical download. And then let's say somebody that's a very poor laborer, he doesn't have the antenna system to pick up that kind of information. So he doesn't get that. What I do in my work is change your antenna system. Okay, so let's say I got a client and she's been raped or sexually abused for years as a kid. That's in her field. So she comes to me now, she's in her 30s or 40s, And all of her relationships with men, or the one she's with now, they're very abusive, harsh people. Why? Everything in the universe runs by resonance, and the resonance is the energy, right? So in her field, that frequency is being radiated out. Just like she said, we radiate out, we receive. So her frequency is, she's got that kind of pain and fear and hurt and anger, however it's manifesting, it's there. She thinks she put it way behind her 30 years ago. You don't put anything behind you. So it's in there, and all I do is go in there and disassemble that. When I'm disassembling that, her frequency is changing. So after we do it for a while, she no longer finds those kind of men. Now she finds nice men at the frequency where she's at now. Everything operates like that. There's two laws, folks, that you need for human life: perception and resonance. Perception gives you your frequency or your vibration, and the vibration gives you your life. It gives you your family, your wealth, your health, everything. What gives you your perception? Subconscious mind. All they do is, you've been programmed for many, many, many generations to be afraid of a pandemic. Then all they do is create something, say it's contagious. Everyone immediately complies because they're operating you through your subconscious mind. Now they have 5G, and just as I send frequencies to help you, they have the 5G network set up with all the towers so that they can manipulate your mind, your thoughts, everything else. You must, in this arena now, one of the most important things you can have in your home and in your pocket is Wi-Fi protection. If you have Wi-Fi protection, they cannot manipulate you because it can't enter, it cannot penetrate into you. And so if you need that, I know how to get that for you. I have it with me right now.
And this is it. I mean, Wi-Fi is a frequency as well that, like we depend upon nowadays to communicate with each other and to work remotely now. So people don't even think about that either. They're just like, it's the magic thing that gives me my internet and that's all I care about. But it's more than that. It
kills all life, though. We need it. But for Wi-Fi, I'll give you an idea of how great Wi-Fi is for biology. Just 4G alone breaks single and double strand DNA in half. Whoa. That gives you every kind of cancer under the sun. 4G alone develops 3 different grades of dementia. It attacks water and oil. Your brain is made out of water and oil. The pituitary reads Wi-Fi as light. Pituitary is the master gland for your hormone system. Wi-Fi gives you brain fog, headaches. It kills everything and anything. It's not anything biological. The big fires, Wi-Fi increases what's called terpenes in plants. And under the right conditions, they self-combust. So we need Wi-Fi, but see that when they ramped up to 5G, and that is not to give you fast internet. It's to control and wipe out whatever they want to control and wipe out. And if you want to see how sophisticated that gets, you can go right on Google and look at the patents yourself. All the military patents are public records, and it'll blow your mind. So you see, I have this little fella here, developed in Germany. It's in my pocket, and then I have my stronger one here. And these things are charged for 4 to 6 years. What they do is they radiate electrons. See, you and I and everything that's biological are supposed to have a negative charge. Wi-Fi stops at. Now, if you, let's say you get hurt, you have an accident, and your body will as a healing mechanism, it starts the inflammatory cascade. And the inflammatory cascade is designed by biology, by God. It runs and it goes. It leaves. But in order to leave, it must have enough electrons. If it doesn't have them, the inflammation will not go away. That's why people in their 60s in America, they can fall, maybe break their hip or their leg, and they die. No need to die at all, but they don't have the electrons. Now think of a hospital. A hospital, the Wi-Fi density is so strong, if you could see it, it looked like a thick, thick soup. Wi-Fi, when I send a frequency, I send you a specific frequency in a burst, and it changes physiology. Wi-Fi is a continuous signal. It is a non-natural microwave kind of frequency, and they have an entire range. So if they wanna fry you, like frying a glass of water, boiling water, all they got to do is target it, and they can target it. They can target it anywhere they want. All of this stuff is very sophisticated, but at my background with the military, that's where I draw that information and knowledge from, combined with what I do as a doc. But if you understand some of these things and you start to move toward it, you can be a healthy, strong, happy person. And if you're not, if you get a hold of me, I'll give you a hand.
And, you know, the way you've been explaining things, Grant, like it feels like I've known this stuff, but it feels like a big penny has dropped for me today. Because for me, I talked about this quite a lot at length on this show, that I did several years of sound healing with a healer. And so that did wonders for me. It was life-changing. And all of the things you're talking about, we tapped into all of that stuff and we cleared it out. And it was just like this weight lifted off me, and I was, a whole new person. And it was like I was reprogrammed. Like I didn't react to things the way I used to. I also... had greater resilience for things, and I didn't have so much resistance, I could deal with things a lot better. And, today we see so many people who are struggling with mental health and stress and all of these kind of things. A lot of that has got to do with what they're carrying in their field, isn't it? Like what they've brought along with them.
Yeah, so it's all, that's the source of the whole thing, actually. So, see, if your consciousness is high enough, there's a cutoff point where environmental toxins can no longer touch you. Bruce Lipton's the one who explains that very, very well. The lower the consciousness, it's very easy for environmental toxins to bother you. You get allergies, all these different things. If consciousness goes up, it's like a graph, and once you pass it, in my case, I don't get sick. I have physical pain from over 50 years or however many years it is of martial. I used to do very harsh training, but I do not. I wouldn't care if you poured a bucket of COVID on my head. I just have a glass of wine. It doesn't mean nothing to me. So my health and the way I live, I live in Thailand, folks. This is all dengue fever, malaria. I get bit by about 1,000 mosquitoes in 2 months. I never get nothing. So you can be like that. The trick is just as she's saying, my therapy also is sound. sound and I use the carrier waves. I use the colors of the chakras because the information I send to you, the divine shows me which chakra to send it into. So sound therapy, the color therapy, that's raising your vibration. That is raising your vibration, and raising consciousness is one and the same. That's the same thing. It doesn't have anything to do with education. You can have 16 PhDs and have the consciousness of a rock.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So what you want to know is the regular world is designed to keep your consciousness down. So you have to want to raise your consciousness, just like you're listening to this podcast and following her podcast. So you're in the small percentile of people who want to know more and raise their consciousness. But we're a small percentage. Because the dark side, we'll call them the dark side, they have the money. They bought out all the politicians. They run all of the media. They own all of the hospitals. They own all of the programs. When I went to chiropractic college, the pharmaceutical companies had bought them out, all of them. I transferred 3 times.
Wow.
Trying to find a place that wasn't corrupted. No, it's all gone. All gone. So they own all that stuff. So what you have to do is what her and I have done is it's like your own pilgrimage to bring yourself up and out.
Now, if anyone's listening and they're super curious about what you do and how you actually get in and clear up that cognitive dissonance that people have, and you know, they may have something like Lyme disease or something else that is, you know, they just can't put their finger on it and they're like, there's something wrong with me, but I don't know what it is. No doubt you can absolutely tap into that and clear that up for them. What's the process and how do you take people through that?
Okay, beautiful question. So first you have to understand that I have these kind of empowerments because I have to be able to do this stuff for real. What does an empowerment mean? It's a big fancy word. An empowerment, the great scientist William Tiller, who was tenured at Stanford University, he described it quite well. An empowerment means that in my subtle energy body and my nervous system, I have been conditioned so that when a powerful energy or frequency is coming through me, it doesn't hurt me. If you go to do some kind of energy work and you are not properly conditioned over a length of time, proper time, you can really hurt yourself. If you ever want to see how dangerous it can be, especially people who think they want to play around with Kundalini, you get the book called Kundalini by Gopi Krishna, Gopi, Gopi Krishna. Just read that book because that guy, poor fellow, was just meditating. He wasn't ready, just a young guy, and the Kundalini rose and destroyed him. He traveled the length and breadth of India. Nobody could help him.
Wow.
Nobody. It's nothing to play with. So I have these empowerments. When I do the destructive interference waves to extract or disintegrate something that's hurting you or blocking your life, my empowerments are from Tibet. When I put in the constructive interference waves to build you up, that comes from India. And when I give you the Deeksha blessing I don't give you the Deeksha blessing, but I channel the Deeksha blessing, and that's directly from the divine. And it's not my divine, it'll be your connection to your God, or to whoever you think that is, or however you want to conceive of it. But that's who's going to come through me. So I have those. Next, I have a person. So I have my client, and I say, how may I help you? And they start to describe what's going on, whether it's their body, their family, their business. It doesn't make any difference. Nothing makes any. That's why I call it depth healing. Depth healing is designed to handle everything and anything. So they start to tell me that, and what I'm doing is I'm writing that down and capturing that energetically on paper. And as they're describing everything, they're opening up their files. Now, it took me nearly 10 years, and I have a pretty high degree of expertise with self-kinesiology, so that I can talk to their subconscious mind surgically. I can talk to the divine. We call bhakta. So I live with my divine. I do everything by the divine, through the divine. So when I start a session, I call in the divine, and then they take over. So I have a big chart of frequencies. The frequencies are all channeled from the divine. And there's the list of the negative frequencies that are going to correlate to their issues by resonance, and then I have the positive ones. So I listen to them. Then when we're ready to start, and I have my targets, I have them close their eyes, and then I'll have them say something. They'll say like, the lady says to me, I have a lot of pain in my right shoulder. So I have her say, I have pain in my right shoulder. So her consciousness is now opening that up. She's looking at it, thinking about it. And then I say, why? So she says, why? And then I can find out exactly why. I go through with kinesiology, I find the exact frequency correlating to why. And then let's say it's I want a scale of how strong the source cause of that pain is. So I give it an arbitrary scale. On a scale of 0 to 10, how strong is the cause of this pain? And let's say it's from a car accident. So it rates at a level 5. So then I have her ask the question, what will reduce the intensity causing this pain to a 4? And I start to trace all of the entanglements energetically associated in her subconscious to that pain, to bring it down one scale. As I'm doing that, every time it comes where there's nothing, I'm not getting any more negatives, I go to the positive, and her system tells me what she needs to build up in place of what we just got rid of. So it's a process of elimination until I get to 0. Now, the thing I want you to really understand is, when I say it's 0, but it's 0 relative to the question. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you have an entanglement consisting of several quadrillion bits of information, because of the way your mind actually remembers things. So it's this gigantic complex, and it's bothering their life. It's preventing them from making money. Their business isn't working. Or it's there's interference between the dad and his son. So it's this big complex. So when they give the question, we're going in with a sliver. So it sometimes takes a long time Depends on what it is. So my method, the divine has taught me how to go in and get the first 3 downloads related to the current problem that they're having, and say they're 55, and I go all the way back through the womb, all the way, and I can find the exact age where the first download related to this problem that's supporting that problem. Okay, in the perceptual field. So I knock out the first 3. Then I come back to today at the age of 55 to see what's left. Now it's very easy to remove it because there's nothing supporting it. You got to get, as a healer, if there's a healer listening here, you have to get the foundation. If you knock out the foundation, the whole house crumbles, and they're free and clear. And then I give the Deeksha at the end. So the divine, a Deeksha means that the divine comes through me into your brain. Now that's been studied by functional brain scans many years ago now by the University of Pennsylvania. What it does is it lights up the frontal cortex, especially the left prefrontal cortex, like a Roman torch.
Wow.
And then it starts with neuroplasticity. It starts to disassemble areas in the parietal lobes. Parietal lobes are the sides of your head that are responsible for fear, anger, worry. So what happens when you get the Deeksha is you're becoming more awake and your triggers are being dissolved. Like now, I've been receiving Deeksha, and I'm a Deeksha blesser now for 11 years, something. I have almost no triggers.
That's incredible.
I was a man who lived for like 3 decades in a state of rage, poor as a church mouse, never could make anything work. All that cognitive dissonance was removed, and I've been receiving blessings, and now I'm this nice, friendly, happy man. But that's very different. I mean, I'm so different. That's why you can trust depth healing, because I'm the proof.
Yeah.
I am depth healing.
That's amazing. And, it's got me curious, Grant, like the people that you've worked with already, like what kind of results have they had in their life?
Oh, well, healed divorce and huge childhood abuse situations between mothers and daughters and their uncles, removed all kinds of physical pain and ailments, and I knocked out COVID, knocked out the shedding, people having tremendous suffering, ramped up businesses so that their financial ceiling's gone and they're just taken off. I handle collectives, so I take a big team of people, and whatever the metric is that they want for that team, it's gone, and then the team is coherent, and that issue is gone. So let's say I have, what I mean by that, folks, let's say, I'll give you like an example. Let's say I have 50 people, and they're a collective, and I'm going to clear them all at the same time for fear of failure. So whenever you have a collective, you have an emergent property, which is the morphic field. It's like a super consciousness that is created by the combination of the collective. Everything operates like that. So just like the computer, if let's say it's the people are 50 computers, all of the software in each computer is the subconscious mind or strata. All of them are connected to the cloud. The cloud is an electromagnetic field that encodes all the information that Google contains. That information is encoded in photons of light. The cloud or amorphic field is a feed forward, feed backward system. So you can upload information into the cloud and you can download information from the cloud. So what I do with a collective, instead of operating in the person, I operate in the cloud, remove the negative there, and it feeds down to each individual, problem solved.
Wow.
So I have like a 98, 99% success rate with everything and anything. It's just that there are some things that I cannot, it's over my pay scale. I can influence a little bit, past lives, little bit. And I can handle like a karmic debt a little bit. I cannot influence anything with the solar program.
Yeah.
Solar program is the 7th program. I can't influence galactic, and I cannot, of course, influence the other realms. So the first program is the past lives, and that depends on your mother and father, their mindset at the time that they made love, where they made love at geophysically, each of their belief system and everything at that moment by resonance will draw in from their karma, past lives, good or bad or both, into you. And then those things will have their own timeline according to how your life is unfolding. And that also at that moment at conception is the genetic inheritance. And that's where you can get like a karmic debt. Let's say you had an ancestor that murdered somebody horrifically. And it was that karma has never been resolved. It can come to you.
Wow.
Depends. And then I've lived through some of those. And so then my work starts the 3rd program. So it's conception through the womb, the birth process, and the first 6 hours after you're born. First 6 hours are enormously important. When you come out of mom, what was said, how were you received, what kind of lighting is there, what kind of sounds, and what's the temperature, all of that has a massive effect. And what was said will generally hit you about age 30.
Wow.
Now, the 4th program starts from the end of first 6 hours, the first 6 years. That's where my primary wound was. When I turned 6, they failed me at Ivor Chandler School. My mom and dad didn't know how to handle that, so they abandoned me emotionally for the rest of my life. And then my older sister, 9 years older, she used to torture me and terrify me. So I ended my 4th program with that. And then starting the 5th program, age 7, when this activates, I already was confused, abandoned, terrified, humiliated, everything. And then that carried me through and made me the man I am now, because it made me go inside, and then my path was initiated. So it's actually a blessing, but it sure don't feel like a blessing at the time.
No.
So that's the 5th program. 6th program is the global collective. Right now, the global collective is about as dark as you can ever imagine. And that's why you see the war, and that's just a warm-up, folks. And then you have the solar program, astrology. That's a big boy. And finally, science is catching up and understanding that. And then above that is the galactic. And then finally, there's UI, universal intelligence. And above all of it is the other realms. And the other realms are where the heavens are, different levels of heavens and hell, and the divine lives there. And the divine comes to us from there to where we are, back and forth like that.
I love how you explain it so that just the average person can understand it, because most people would be like, this stuff is just too much for my brain to handle. But like, I am getting every bit of this. It's like I'm having a big aha moment with you today. Like, I'm just like,
good.
I get this stuff now, I totally get it. And I can see why people get so into it and can really transform their lives and the lives of others. And it also, no doubt, has a connection with manifestation. Like you were talking about, businesses that take off and all that kind of stuff. When you're clearing that dissonance and, that attraction, that law of attraction, and the universe actually attracting what it needs to, and not having that resistance, that's where that manifestation comes through.
That's what happened to me. See, like I was as poor as a church mouse, folks, for like 30 years. And I know every wealth business coach. I know all their work inside and out. Tony Robbins, John Assaraf, Brendan Burchard, Bob Proctor. I know them all. But I never made a dime. And I never could understand why. So I would get angrier and angry. Didn't matter what degrees I had or levels of expertise or anything. And then I met Larry Habursky, the great master who I apprenticed under for 8 years. After I became a doctor, and Tam and I, my ex-wife, we moved to Georgia, and I met Dr. Habursky, one of the greatest doctors you could ever imagine. And he taught me the subconscious mind. So I had lack consciousness programming solid for a minimum of 27 years. And I didn't know that. So he was seeing me once to 3 times a week for 8 years, and he would systematically disintegrate all of the angles of lack consciousness. So the cognitive dissonance means your education wants to go left, and the subconscious says you can't do that. And when the subconscious wins because of the ratio, in terms of power, it's a 1 to 1 million ratio. 1 million. This can never overrule this. So I was trying, nothing ever worked. And then I was removing the cognitive dissonance, things started working. Then when I got the Deeksha and started to melt all of the anger out of me and the like all the negative stuff, and the pain in me started to go away. And the grace, see, when you receive grace, life is easy. I live a life here like Alice in Wonderland. I lived a life of hell in the old days. And it's my own creation, but you don't know it.
Yeah.
Because it's subconscious. So now how can you see your subconscious yourself? If you can, all you have to do is look at your surround. Look at your friends. Look at your health in your body. Look at your wealth or lack thereof. Everything you see is you. So the surround has been drawn to you by resonance. So if you go into a path like this, as you change inside, that surround will all change. People will go away, new people will come. Money will go away, money will come. So the divine and life always wants to give you everything. But we have all these blocks and we don't know it. So when I'm removing the block, so if it's a business person, an entrepreneur, I have every kind of possible entrepreneur sees me. Or say investors, they like me because I can talk to the field and find out what to do right away. Because the field cannot lie, see. The only thing that can be wrong is me. If I don't have a clear channel and I don't know how to ask the question just right, because I'll get an answer according to the question, but I can tell them what to buy, what not to buy, all that kind of stuff I can do. Well, anyway, when they have a business and they want to go and expand, nothing's happening. It can be a karma. It can be a lot of my real estate agents. They can't seem to get a property to sell. Well, I find out there's a negative energy, a very strong one, on the property in the building. So when people see it, they don't see that. It's just that for whatever reason, they don't buy it.
Yep.
When I remove that energy, it sells.
Yep.
And then when you bless something, so let's say I clear a business, and let's say there's a board of directors, and there's some kind of problem. So I find a general interference for the business. Then I look at the board of directors, I get their names. Sure enough, Mr. A, there's an interference pattern between him and Mr. C. So I find out who is it, C or the other guy? Or is it a composite, both of them? I heal that, and all of a sudden the board of directors are coherent, congruent, and things work.
Amazing stuff. And like just what you're talking about there, I have experienced parts of that in my life. Like when you heal that stuff and get it out of your field, the things that you want, and the universe wants you to have what you're trying to achieve. It's not like they're trying to keep you from it. It's just we get in the way of it. We need to get out of the way and let go of all the stuff that we're hanging on to. And I think
when you did
put
that
it simply,
sound therapy, I bet things changed.
Absolutely. Like it was night and day. Absolute night and day. And this is the thing as well, is that it's not a set and forget with some things either, because as we are humans, we evolve, right? So every day is a different program, right? So,
Yeah.
and we pick up new things. So it's like, it's a continual thing that we need to focus on. It's not a set and forget and you're done and I'm good, right?
Well, I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad she said that. It's one of the most important understandings you can ever have, folks. There is no such thing as an event. There never has been, and there never will be. Everything is a process. So if you know that, you can live a very skillful life. That's why I like Earl Nightingale. Way back when I was about 19, I heard this guy give a definition of success, and I've remembered it all these years. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Why do I like it? Because it's process oriented. Don't ever, one of the problems with the goal achievement model is if you don't have the understanding that that's all a process, you'll achieve the goal, and then all of a sudden, now what?
Exactly.
Because it's never a thing. So for you and I, for all of us, think of life like a gigantic keyboard. And it's got all the nice little different color keys. And if there's a black key, let's say that's some kind of a trauma. And maybe another darker brown key is some kind of a problem. And then the white keys are just bliss. But this keyboard goes for miles. And that's your life. So then as you're living, the environmental stimulus hits notes.
Yep.
And every time it hits the note, like you see someone, ding, you see another guy, ding.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. Now, which keys get impacted is by your fundamental resonance, your fundamental frequency. You have millions of frequency, but there will be a you know how you know somebody, they're always happy.
Yep.
They're basically full of life. Someone else is always angry. That's their fundamental frequency. And then those keys are the ones that are going to be touched.
Yep.
And then that's what they're going to find as their life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. That makes complete sense. And, you know, we would hit so many different notes every single day. And I just love that perspective of looking at things, because people think, oh, you know, I've had this trauma, I've had this, and I've healed that. Now I can move on. I don't need to touch it again. And it's like, oh, no, we're humans. We grow every single day. Like we are just a different thing every day. And I think, again, getting back to the thing that we don't know ourselves, you know, is really the key to it all. And this is why I love having conversations like this. Now, Grant, I know I could talk to you all day, and already like the gold that we've pulled out today is incredible. But if people want to get in touch with you and experience what you can do for them, where can they go?
All you got to do, folks, is my website. Johnny, my admin, fixes up this nice website for me. Just go to depthhealing.org. It's .org, not .com, .org. And you just get a hold of me directly. I'll take care of you. I do everything myself personally. And then I have that Instagram. Johnny fixes up Instagram. It's Depth Healing Instagram and Depth Healing Facebook. And I think now Johnny fixed up something with TikTok, but Amazing. It's always Depth Healing.
Yep.
That's all you got to do. And I'll and I also do every month at the full moon. If you watch for the notification, I do a free service for the divine, and it's a collective blessing. Takes about 30 minutes for the whole process. And for that, what you do is you write out what you want from the divine. Doesn't matter what it is, but you write it out as a thank you letter.
Yep.
You know how she was talking about the law of attraction? Always remember the divine, it doesn't know problems, and it doesn't recognize negatives. So it only recognizes solutions, and it recognizes emotion. So what you do is you make a letter to the divine saying, thank you so much for the $10,000, or thank you so much that my health is beautiful and perfect, or that my cancer is gone, anything like that.
Yep.
But you write it out in present tense, and you bring that letter to my event, and I'll teach you a way. It's called a sankalpa. You'll read the letter, then you're going to put it in your hands, and you'll receive the Deeksha. And when it's a collective Deeksha and at the full moon, the power is enormous. Then you keep that prayer, you put it in a safe place, and you can write thank you on the back of it. And the only thing I can't tell you is when the divine will answer it, but it will answer it for you.
Well, I'm gonna tune in for one of those. So
please do.
I will check that out, and I will tune in for one of those, because it sounds like an incredible thing to experience. Now, Grant, last big question for you. What is the change you'd like to see in the world, and how can we bring it to life?
Boy, that's a good question. Well, it's what my purpose is. That's the only reason I'm alive is to help. So the change, it's just the reason I'm hesitating, it's oversimplified. But the change, of course, is that there would be a shift of consciousness so that we don't all die. You know, folks, if you take away everything else, this is just one main thing. We're past the middle of the 6th mass extinction. So do you know what extinction means? Means zero. So we're past the middle of the 6th mass extinction. So that's happening. And then the global collective, they're exterminating millions of people all the time. They're already dead. Many of my friends are already dead. Those people, they're all being exterminated. Agenda 21, the 5G, all these things. You can't fix a problem from the thing that created the problem.
Absolutely.
So consciousness, and that's why the divine is working so hard for us. That's why the divine gave us Deeksha for the public in 1987. Until 1987, Deeksha was reserved for people like Jesus and Buddha and Krishna to pass on, only to their top people. Deeksha has been around for thousands of years. Now you can go and get Soma. What is Soma? In San Diego, California, there's a lady named Taylor. She's the strongest channel for Soma outside of India. She's an American. When you go, if you see a Soma event, you go there and you bring a bottle of water. She'll lead you through a process, and the divine puts Soma, makes the water into Soma. What does that mean? Whatever you want, you make the intention what you need. Like say you have cancer, then you get the Soma, and the bottle will get filled with bubbles, or it'll change color, or it'll have a smell. And then you drink the Soma, and the cancer will be gone. This is happening every day now, all over the world. That's the real deal. The Soma is coming from the other realms. The substance does not belong to Earth. Now that's common now. They initiated the first Soma event in San Diego, I don't know how many months ago now. All of those kinds of things are happening. And why is the divine doing that? To try to save humanity. Because Soma can be transferred right away. The whole process is it's a specific kind of a prayer. And you hold the bottle, and the Soma is downloaded. All this kind of stuff is happening. You won't hear about it in the media. Media isn't worth a powder to blow it to hell. It's just garbage. All these kinds of things are going on. I'm one of the people that is, I have the authority to do certain things on behalf of the divine. And my work is dedicated for that. But there's so many things you can do. If you want enlightenment, drink. So it might take a few different bottles to get you enlightenment, but the Soma is designed to do that. And each person, the Soma is customized to each. If you have 30 billion people, they will get 30 billion different Somas. Amazing. Now that's the real deal. You can check it out yourself, no problem. And if you need information, get a hold of me and I'll hook you up.
Incredible. And that's really, I think, to sum up our conversation, Grant, is it's all about consciousness, isn't it? Really.
It is.
Everything that we've spoken about, consciousness. Look, yes. I can't thank you enough for being with me today and being a part of the Ethical Evolution. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I send you a big hug.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to the Ethical Evolution podcast. If you're ready to be the change and would love to work with me on finding your voice through spiritual coaching or creating your own podcast with impact, visit ethicalchangeagency.com.
Welcome to Tuning Into Sound Wellbeing, where we harmonise your mind, body and soul. I'm Amanda, your sound therapy expert.
And I'm Stephen, the curious explorer uncovering the mysteries of sound.
Together we explore vibrations, frequencies, and the power of sound therapy and tuning forks.
Discover ancient wisdom, reduce stress, and tune into a healthier life. Subscribe to Tuning Into Sound Wellbeing today.
Welcome to Ringside with Ray and Prince. My name is Ray Leonard Jr.
Oh, is that the set? No, that's just my dad.
My name is Prince Daniels Jr.
Daniels again with a big home touchdown.
On this show, we come to humanize
Athletes, entertainers, business executives. We're going to see what makes them tick.
Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific time on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll see you there. Peace and power.
Electric acid. Electric acid.